tonight. A new boss is coming to town. Inspector Pearson announces he'll be leaving the Lloydminster detachment. And
the seizure has reached its lifespan, so we've approved today renovation.
After more than 40 years, the Lloydminster Golf and Curling Center will be getting a much-needed facelift. Plus,
eventually, I think we're hoping to make sure that every school has that.
Students from the Catholic School Division are celebrating Aboriginal Awareness Week.
This is Newcap News with Michaela Henshaw.
Good evening. The major crime and forensics identification units from North Battleford have been called in to help after Onion Lake RCMP discovered a body in a slough yesterday. It was found in the water near 9 Mile Road, about 1 kilometer from Chief Taylor Road intersection. Officials have identified the man but are not releasing his name. They are notifying relatives and are trying to determine how he died and how he ended up in the slough. We'll expect to see a new face at the top of the Lloydminster RCMP. Inspector Neil Pearson announced today he'll be moving on from the detachment.
My members do a lot of great work here, make the community safe. We work towards reducing our crime in the city and the area, and I just want to thank everybody for the support.
After 18 months as inspector, Pearson has accepted a role with the RCMP in Edmonton. His last day in Lloydminster will be tomorrow.
A little story, my wife bought a little memento many years ago, and it said, "Bloom where you're planted," and I've used that as a philosophy. So wherever I go, I put 100% into the communities I'm in, and no different here. So
the search for a new inspector is underway, and Pearson says he expects a replacement to be named in the next couple of months. An update now on a story we brought you last week. Lloydminster RCMP have been executing several large-scale search warrants, and today they revealed some of the items they've seized. So far this year, police have recovered around $300,000 worth of drugs, weapons, cash, and stolen property.
Through the course of these search warrants, we have seen over 25 arrests, resulting in over 200 different charges that have been laid against these individuals that are involved inside of the drug trade and property crime in Lloydminster. And
Kurzinger adds the public's assistance is a major help in their crime reduction strategies.
We definitely want to thank and encourage the community to report things that might seem out of the normal to them, to make sure that they contact us if there is something that might be suspicious, so that we can continue that intelligence-led policing.
Well, much of City Council's focus in capital project is on replacing or updating facilities that are now out of date. Another fix-up is now on the list, and work will come from the community. Our Josh Ryan has more.
The Lloydminster Golf and Curling Center is 40 years old and has long needed renovations. Finally, the project is underway.
The seizure has reached its lifespan, so we've approved today renovation to the exterior of the wooden portion of the Golf and Curling Club.
The contract was awarded to Bexon Construction for more than $370,000, which helps the city stay under budget and utilizes local work.
We have some requirements, certainly when we spend the kind of money that we're spending, that we ensure that we've went out and looked for the best purchase price through the tender process. It was tendered, and it's great that a local company that employs local employees and is based in Lloyd got the chance to do the job.
The existing cedar siding will be replaced with a mix of steel cladding and stucco.
It's been painted over a number of times, but I think this will give it an opportunity to give it a much fresher and brighter look to it.
The insulation value will also be improved, which reduces utility costs.
It's going to have a wrap that you'll see around most buildings today in new construction. It's part of the new construction standards.
Council also approved of a contingency allowance for $5,205. This will be funded through the approved capital budget. Josh Ryan, Newcap News.
Well, K-12 students from the Lloydminster Catholic School Division are getting the opportunity to learn more about Aboriginal culture this week. All classes across the division are participating in Aboriginal Awareness Week. The students are taught about Aboriginal traditions, including meat smoking, trapping, fish cleaning, and goose prep. Some of these elementary school students are getting a taste of the traditional foods for the very first time.
Right now I just had deer meat and moose meat.
No.
I think it was pretty good. I've only had it once.
And outside here we have a smoker set up, and we're teaching the kids how to smoke meat and prepare their meat for the winter or whatever.
And it's not just about having a tasty treat. Young says it's important for the kids to have hands-on experience with the Aboriginal culture, something she hopes to see across the Catholic schools in Lloydminster.
And eventually, I think we're hoping to make sure that every school has that and get each school ready and have them informed and have a lot of cultural events for them to learn about the Native culture.
And Holy Rosary High School has put up 2 new flagpoles where the Treaty 6 and Métis flags will fly. Well, for one night only, the Beatles are making their way to the Vic Juba Theatre. Well, the reunion Beatles, that is. The group are the Beatles cover band based out of the Bay Area, unlike the original Fab Four, who from Liverpool. The band says a project like this can make fans come together.
They're a cultural phenomenon, aren't they, really? They're more than just a pop group. I mean, they influenced everything, art and, fashion, language, everything.
Despite the fact that 2 of the original members of the Beatles have passed away, the band tries to imagine what it would be like if George Harrison and John Lennon were still alive today.
This is not, it's a fantasy tribute,
Yeah.
and so many of us included, fantasize that it might have gone on. So the folks that have been coming out to the shows have been kind of rabid about it.
The reunion Beatles hit the stage at 7:30 tonight at the Vic Juba Theatre. Well, we have 2 animals in the adoption spotlight tonight. Meredith is a laid-back senior cat looking for a quiet forever home, and Alloy is an energetic pup who's looking for someone to keep up. Here's Morgan from the SPCA.
Meredith is a lovely old lady that sometimes has a tendency to be a grumpy old lady. She loves attention, but more so from a laid-back, snuggling, and catnapping perspective than a playful one. Meredith would be best suited with older humans and a quiet home, as loud noises make her nervous and may cause Meredith to hide. If you're looking for a great cat to keep laps warm and keep your hands busy, when Meredith demands pets, then she might just be the perfect cat for you. That low-key kind of gal to sit next to you while you're watching TV or to hog the bed in the middle of the night, then Meredith is your kitty. Come by the SPCA and introduce yourself today. If you're looking for a fun-loving and adventure-seeking girl to keep up with your active lifestyle, then you just have to meet Alloy. This sweet girl can be a little shy at first, but with some encouragement, she will quickly become your best friend. This is also when her bubbly personality will shine through. Alloy is still trying to figure out some proper manners, but with some guidance, it won't take her long to keep her do's and don'ts straight. If you think this dog would fit in perfectly in your home, stop by the SPCA and take her home today.
This is Newcap Sports.
Well, the 2018 Lloydminster Ladies League softball season began late last week, and although the league has shrunk by 1 team, there's still plenty of competitive softball to be played. Lance Phillips was there for the league's first game between the U16A Liners and Edge in a cold, rainy, and mentally tough game.
At first pitch, the temperature was a not-so-pleasant 3 degrees. Not ideal for Lloydminster's softball season opener and the kickoff to what many hope is a promising U16A girls season. Liners' fielding was also cold, and the team finished on the losing end of a 10-1 score. Errors, and more errors were the story of the younger team's game, but it's understandable, given the majority of players haven't ever taken the field against far more experienced Ladies League players.
You know, they're all excited. First time for a lot of them playing in the Ladies League. A lot of them came from U14, so they just had exhibition games and whatnot here in Lloyd. But, you know, I think they kind of get a little bit intimidated by the ladies. They're seeing, you know, a little bit different pitching from 43 feet. Plus, our pitchers have to pitch from 43, and they're used to 40. So I think there's a lot of nerves going on.
I felt like just kind of because it was our first game and like
just being out on the field, it was really exciting, and then at times it could become too much.
It won't take long for the U16 girls to learn what it takes to win in the city's only women's softball league. After all, their coach spent her share of time learning the ropes as well.
Back when I was in the league, it was about staying focused, being able to recoup from errors if there was errors made, because it seems like once you make one, then there's another one, then there's another one.
There were positives to take away. The girls put bat to ball and executed plays they'd worked on in practice. And even with a 9-run loss, in no way is Blanchard in a state of panic.
I'm not worried. They're going to be able to bounce back, and we have a good weekend coming up, so it's supposed to have nice weather. I'm hoping that they'll be able to, show what they've actually learned thus far.
Lance Phillips, Newcap Sports, Lloydminster.
All right, that's your first look at sports, Gerard. We'll have your weather details next. Stay with us.
This is Newcap Weather with Gerard Lampa.
Welcome to it, everyone. So really hot weather. We didn't hit 30, but around the area, certainly some 30-degree weather is on tap. Battleford's getting up to 29, so that's to put it mildly there. Moose Jaw, they were up at 32. I think Regina's up at 32 in this hour. And Rosemary, just northwest of Brooks in Alberta, they were the hot spot in Alberta today, up there at 30 degrees Celsius. So what's on tap for tomorrow? Maybe a little cooler, yes, and then maybe even cooler on Thursday. Not falling below the freezer by any stretch of the imagination, mind you, but we could certainly do with some showers there because the fire risk is back up there at extreme. And these are the showers that are possible. This is early in the morning there. We'll see if it does materialize there, and that's along the warm front of this system, and then the cooler air will come in on the back end, and this could set up things basically late Wednesday into the early hours of Thursday morning, and maybe on again, off again on Thursday. It's not a lot of rain, as we've been saying. Maybe it's 3, maybe it's about 5 millimeters, but for areas just around Highway 16 and south there and cutting between ourselves and the Battlefords, that's where the prospect is of showers, at least going into the early hours, overnight Wednesday into the early hours of Thursday morning. Let's talk about tomorrow then as we go forward there, and you see we're cooler. Today we hit 27, 23, so just 4 degrees off of that. 24 possible for Marwayne, out to Laklabish, 21s, 22s around Bonnyville, St. Paul areas, 24 off to Edmonton there, 26 in Vegreville, 24 around Provost and Macklin areas there, and heading into Saskatchewan, 18 out at Isle Across, 22 for Green Lake, 23 at Meadow Lake, 22 in St. Walburg, 21 Maidstone and Battlefords. Battlefords could see some of those showers in the afternoon especially. Let's head across the country then. 23 and mainly sunny skies for Vancouver, 27 out to Edmonton, 13 out to Whitehorse. We've got 4 in overcast skies in Yellowknife, 32 in this hour in Regina there, 23 and a mix of sun and cloud in Winnipeg. Let's head to Toronto then. Variably overcast and partially sunny at times for 18, down from 20 I think it was earlier on in the afternoon in Toronto. 11 mainly sunny skies in Quebec. Some fog pushing into Halifax for their 11. 10 out to St. John's, and then off to Iqaluit at -3. So let's return to the prairies and see what's happening in the Battlefords with lots of blue skies. 28 down from 29 earlier, but look at the wind pushing up in this hour there to 52 kilometers per hour. The odd gust or two is doing that, averaging around 32, but pushing at times, and that's a pretty sharp jump, mind you. 11 is what you could see in the early hours of the morning, and then looking for 21 with a couple of showers in the afternoon. It's not a lot, but whatever moisture we get, we will certainly take it because conditions are very dry. Please be careful out there. 24 is what we're sitting at the moment in Cold Lake and parts of the Lakeland. 9 in the early hours of the morning, and then looking for 21 tomorrow as your daytime high. Pleasant with some sun. Winds northeast at times. We'll round it off 10 to 20 kilometers per hour. We're at 26, down from 27 in the Midwest, Lloydminster, Vermilion, Wainwright, Provost areas. So 11 is what we could see in the early hours of the morning. This morning we were at 11 around 6 o'clock, and then between 6 and say about 8 o'clock thereabouts, jumped up to 16 and finished off the day at 27. Tomorrow, 4 degrees back from that, so we'll settle for 23. Mainly sunny at times, and then quite overcast. The prospect is for some showers in the early hours of the morning, very remote, but then the better chances really look like late Wednesday evening, overnight Thursday, and maybe off again on Thursday. It's 20 to about 30% chance. Cool on Thursday for 16, climbing back up there, 19 on Friday, then 21 Saturday, 23 Sunday, 25 on tap for Monday, and 28 next Tuesday. So another 20-degree weather weekend looks in store for us there. May long, oh my gosh and golly, I gotta rub my eyes twice. That's a May long weekend. Michaela, that's the next 7 days.
Well, when it comes to breakfast, there's nothing like good bacon. For young kids, understanding where that bacon comes from is an important lesson. And Gerard Lampau meets an area producer who is sharing our food story.
Where the types of meat come from and what different uses there are for a pig.
Scott Downey has cattle, pork, sheep, and crops on 5 quarters of land in Neilburg. He was sharing his knowledge of pigs with the kids at Ag Education Day.
What part of the pig does the bacon come from? And, we go over to the chart and we show them where everything comes from and explain to them what it is. And that hamburger actually isn't from a pig, it's from a cow, and it's stuff like that.
He even mentioned that pig's hair is used in making paintbrushes. Downey feeds his pigs with a grain mix.
This is wheat, barley, oats, and a vitamin mix. And we grind it up fine for better processing so that the pig gets more nutrient out of it.
Downey keeps his pigs about 6 to 8 months before selling them. They can get to about 300 pounds. Kids working with pigs need to learn their temperament.
Safety is very important, but more or less with the swine, they're so smart that they learn quickly about who's coming and who's going from the pen.
Downey says it's pretty basic. You need to avoid putting your hand near the mouth. His biggest concern for the industry is health and safety.
These ones, since they've been here, will not be put back into the barn. I'm going to have to quarantine them so that whatever bacteria they've caught from the children won't go into the barn and infect the other ones.
While his love for pigs stands out, he admits some animals are better than some.
Very, very much like people. Some animals have a poorer disposition than others, and some are just real sweethearts. We've had some that just, they won't let you leave the pen until you scratch them.
Gerard Lampau, Newcap News.